Hey guys, welcome back to Crash Course. Today we're going to talk about the absolute true diary of a part-time Indian written by Sherman Alexie and how it talks about alienation. So, what is alienation? Alienation is to make someone feel isolated or estranged. For example, in Superman Man of Steel, how when he was just a kid and he was finding out his true self and how he was finding out that he had powers and other kids would just pick on him. Later, he does save their lives, but I guess it doesn't matter now. Anyway, the absolute true diary of a part-time Indian is a story talking about a poor-spoken Indian kid named Junior. He is born with a bunch of disabilities, such as having more teeth than the average human, long feet, and hands at a young age, and he also had multiple mental disabilities. Natives that lived on the reservation lived a tough life compared to everybody else. The reservation is located in several locations around the United States. They are very poor and they've just been overlooked. It's hard to make money on the reservation because they couldn't grow crops on it, because the ground and soil was just not very good to grow crops on. There were many problems that still go on in the reservation, and it's a norm for them for stuff to happen such as alcoholism, drug addiction, and domestic violence. The natives look different in comparison to the rest of the United States, so everyone looked at them differently. This relates to the book because the author, who is a native, describes and tells stories about his life. The book is basically a Native American who moved from reservation to Reardon. It talks about how Junior was alienated from the world because of how he looks. Junior has a lot of physical and mental problems. Junior had hydrocephalus, which is a condition where there is water in the brain. This condition gave him a stutter, seizures, and a number of physical differences, such as a large head. And because of that, he was a target for bullies. Junior had a best friend, and his name was Rowdy, who other kids were afraid of him. Rowdy always protected Junior. Junior had to leave to go to a white school in Reardon. When he had to leave, he was actually given the opportunity to, and he took it. He jumped straight on it. Junior's parents are okay with that, but his best friend Rowdy was upset. Junior gets upset, so he punches Junior right in the face, and then they become enemies more than friends, instead of friends. Junior then meets a charming blonde named Penelope. He learns that she's anorexic, and then they become closer. They later on become semi-girlfriend and boyfriend. After a conversation with his father, Junior decides to join the basketball team and makes it in. Then Junior goes through a bunch of unfortunate events. His grandmother first dies in a car accident, then his dad's best friend gets shot in the face. These were all alcohol-related incidents. Then his sister dies inside a fire inside a truck. Towards the end of the book, Rowdy and Junior play a game of basketball. They play a one-on-one game, and Junior ends up winning. Rowdy then talks to Junior and tells him that he accepts that he left the reservation. Junior then decides that he is multi-tribal. He doesn't fully recognize that he's white or Indian. He belongs to different tribes. Penelope and Rowdy were alienated throughout the whole book. Sherman and Alexie described how they felt and how they got alienated by mentioning events that made them feel alienated and would make anyone else feel alienated. Rowdy was constantly abused at home, and his parents were alcoholic. Although his parents being alcoholics is normal in the reservation, him being abused made him tough. He started bullying other people and beating up other kids. He was one of the only people that hit other kids in the reservation. He didn't have any friends, only Junior. Even though he would also beat up Junior, he was only one of the only people that he cared about. No one would be friends with him, and he would be left out of everything. Penelope was alienated because she was bulimic and she was very skinny. People would make fun of her, and she was much different than everybody else. Although she was popular, and she would still get picked on, and she'd be sad all the time. In fact, one of the first experiences Junior had with her is when he was walking by the bathroom and he heard her crying. So, one of the quotes that were written in the book in page 59 was when Junior was talking to Penelope. He said, "What's your name?" Penelope asked Junior. Penelope asked, "What's your name?" They were laughing at my name. That's what was written. Then this is an example of how Penelope made Junior feel alienated. She would talk to him and laugh at him in front of his face, even when Junior was confused about what she was laughing at. Junior also said earlier in the book that he ended up having 44 teeth, and even though a typical human only had 32. First of all, I ended up having 42 teeth. The typical human has 32, right? but I had 42. 10 more than usual, 10 more than normal, 10 past human. My teeth got so crowded that I could barely close my mouth. Junior was born with more teeth than normal, and because of that, he looked different. He also says how he has a stutter and a lisp. I also had a stutter and a lisp, or maybe I should say stutter and a lisp. Rowdy has been alien throughout his whole life as well. He had alcoholic parents, which was normal in the reservation. Although he had a very abusive father, because of his abusive dad, he became a very aggressive person. He would beat up other kids, and he was the toughest one there. He was Junior's only friend, and vice versa. He would protect Junior from other bullies, as Junior would help him and support him with dealing with his abusive and alcoholic father. He was also always mad. He had an edge to him. He didn't let anyone mess with him, and if they did, they would pay. A quote that was talking about how no one would mess with him is, "He was born mad." Later on, it says, but he did punch a kick and spit. He got into his first fist fight in kindergarten. He got into his first fist fight in kindergarten. He took on 3 first graders during a snowball fight because one of them had thrown a piece of ice. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video and maybe learned a little something, like maybe I know the alienation is bad. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.